Today, I wanted to talk about something that's low key kind of really scary, I'm not gonna lie. And the way that things are shaping out to be, it is not looking good for the future of entertainment, you could say. Because two of the biggest streaming platforms, Netflix and Crunchyroll, are basically turning into real life monopolies. I'm gonna tell you in a bit that why we have reached this point and where this is actually going to go. But I had to mention this first that I know you all have seen the recent news that Netflix apparently has bought Warner Bros. For $82.7 billion. Let me repeat that. $82.7 billion. And over here, I'm sitting in my chair thinking about how should I pay for my internet. So that number, it's just insane to me. But with this transaction, some of our most favorite titles like movies, TV shows, games are all going to be owned by Netflix. And listen, I'm not saying Warner Bros. Is actually good. Like, they have done pretty shady stuff in the past as well. And pretty dick moves, you could say as well. I mean, the Nemesis system is just one example of that. But I just want to tell you some of the titles that are going to be owned by Netflix. And mind you, these are just some of them. Curb Your Enthusiasm, Euphoria, Friends, Game of Thrones, Gilmore Girls, I have not seen this one. Gossip Girls, Pretty Little Liars, Rick and Morty, Sex and the City, The Sopranos, Succession, Veep, The West Wing, The White Lotus, The Wire, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Blade Runner, Casablanca, I don't know this one as well. Citizen Kane, The Exorcist, Gone with the Wind, Godfellas, The Goonies, The Matrix, Rebel Without a Cause, The Searchers, The Shawshank Redemption, The Harry Potter franchise, The Lord of the Ring franchise. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, the Amazon Lord of the Rings wasn't enough, and now we're going to get a Netflix version as well. I am pretty sure of that. Like, why are they doing this to my favorite franchise, man? I love Lord of the Rings, but they are just butchering it in the worst way possible. But that's not all, because any version of Batman that has ever been made, that's diabolical. And these are only like the movies and, for example, TV shows, you could say. Every single game that has been made by Warner Bros. And basically is a title that is like owned by them is basically now owned by Netflix. Like, for example, the Mortal Kombat games, the, I don't know, Batman games, the Lord of the Rings games. You know what I said, like the Nemesis system. Yeah, that is now owned by Netflix. And dude, if I want to just say every single title, it is going to be a shit ton. Like, there is a lot. And I'm not talking about things that no one knows about. These are like main blockbuster things like Dune, Barbie, what? Dude, Jesus Christ, like, just look at these. You could basically say like almost 50 years worth of like entertainment media that has been produced by Warner Bros. Is now in the palms of Netflix. And it is so insane to me that some people are looking at this as a positive thing. I mean, I was watching like Moist Critical's video about it. Some people are just delusional. I mean, Charlie said it really well that I don't know how some people just think in their mind that this whole situation is actually positive. And I'm gonna tell you in a bit why this thing is really bad, but I just wanted to talk about another thing as well, that starting 2026, you are no longer going to be able to watch anything on Crunchyroll for free, even with ads. Crunchyroll did have a plan, you could say, that included ads for certain type of anime that you could basically watch them for free, but you had to watch ads in between them, which is really frustrating, not gonna lie. But I mean, there was some title like Bochi the Rock, Bungo Stray Dogs, Blue Lock, Beast Tamer, like Chainsaw Man, there's like Code Geass, Golden Kamuy, Liquor Sequoia, My Dress Up Darling, Ranking of Kings, Spy Family, Vinland Saga. I mean, there was some like big titles in there. But the thing that I want to point out is that the reason that Crunchyroll is able to do this is that there is no competition. Now you might say there is like Amazon, there's Disney, there's Netflix, there's Hulu. Who watches anime mainly on those platforms? Back in the day, we had like Funimation, and that was some sort of, you could say, competition for Crunchyroll. I mean, Funimation was around even before Crunchyroll, you could say, but it all went downhill in 2016 when Sony decided to buy Funimation, and then 4 years later they went ahead and bought Crunchyroll as well. And do you know why there isn't a thing as Funimation anymore? Because they decided to merge Funimation and Crunchyroll together, and now there is only Crunchyroll. And my friend, that's how you create monopoly. Because when there's no competition, you can basically do anything. You can jank up the prices, you can make any original show that you want, you can screw the fans, you can basically show a middle finger to the fans and just say, oh, you want a decent show, you want this for your favorite title. Well, guess what? You are screwed, my dear friend, because you have no other choice. And it is only going to get worse if no other major, like, as I said, competition rises between all of this madness. Like, we can literally reach a point which, like, if you want to watch, like, any type of show, you have to pay, like, $30, $40, $50, even higher than that in a single month just to be able to watch a single show. And mind you, do you know why cable TV died? Because the prices on cable TV became so freaking high that people basically were not able to afford it. Hence the reason why that in the deal that Netflix has made with Warner Bros., they have not bought the rights to the cable titles. For example, Cartoon Network and stuff like that. It is only for the streaming rights. So Netflix basically knows that cable TV is basically dead. And if it's not dead, it is going to be completely gone in just a few years. And now that Netflix has bought Warner Bros., trust me when I say this, that in like 10 years down the line, the theatrical release of movies is also going to be dead. Like, I'm not shocked that in like 15 years, there is not going to be a thing as like a cinema. Because in a recent interview, they basically said that now that they have acquired Warner Bros., at any time when a movie comes out, the delay between its like theatrical release and the digital release on, for example, streaming platforms is going to be shortened. And that, my friend, it is going to kill the cinemas for good. And again, that is how you create monopoly. Like, if you remember this year, Netflix actually jumped up the prices on their platform like really high, which the ad supported version is $8 a month, and the premium plan is like $25 if I'm not mistaken. I just want to give you an example of how fucked up the situation is, because the standard plan for Netflix back in 2014 was $8 a month, and now it's over 20. And I can promise you the same thing is going to happen with Crunchyroll as well, because they have no incentive to actually keep down the prices. Like, why should they keep down the prices? So I think it is clear as day that less competition basically equals less pressure to stay affordable. And the problem is that this thing is also going to impact the quality of the shows as well. Because when there's only a couple of big dogs in the streaming space, why should they fight to keep the quality like high? They can basically put out anything that they want. And now that we're reaching the end of 2025, I'm going to predict this, that we're going to see the death of theatrical releases in the next 10 years, I could say, mostly 15. And I'm going to make another prediction as well. The same way that we saw the death of the cable TVs, we are also going to see the death of the streaming platforms as well. Now, I don't know what could actually replace the streaming platforms, but there is going to be a point in time that people are not going to be able to pay like $50 a month for a Netflix subscription, you could say. And they would just rather not watch any movies or, for example, TV shows at all, or just go the pirate route, you could say. Or alternative, they're just gonna watch YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and just stuff like that. So yeah, that is kind of really fucked up. So if I want to end this on a positive note, is that I really hope that some time down the future, we're going to actually see some new competitors in the industry. Because if there's no competition, then we're basically screwed, you could say. But I guess we can only hope. Now, if you want personally in any shape or form actually contribute into making this situation better, you can always do some things like keeping an eye out for like independent studios, independent like animators, or I don't know, like small platforms, or for example, you know, supporting like physical media, or in general just indie creators, you could say. Because I can say this for sure that, hey, Spike from the future here, just wanted to mention a simple, tiny little news as well, that Netflix now owns HBO. Do whatever you want with that information. The more power that we give to the like giant streaming platforms, the less control we're going to have over the things that we get to watch. So yeah, if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, like all of that good stuff. I really appreciate it. And well, that's about it. Bye.